A gift that is earned is not a gift. Think about the gifts that you give or have received. Are they really grace? It's Nicholas' birthday on Monday, tomorrow. And we're going to give him presents, of course. So the question is, has Nicholas earned those gifts? And the answer is yes and no. We aren't making Nicholas pay for his own presents. He hasn't earned those presents because of his behavior. But he will receive those presents because he is our son. I hate to tell you this, but I don't crash birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese so that I can give the random kid a birthday present. That would be weird. That would be, you wouldn't want to see your pastor on the news for that. That would be strange. And in fact, I give presents to other people, of course, the rest of my family, friends, people who invite me to their party, but there always is some sort of little condition there on the gift, whether because they're related or because we're friends or because they invited me. And so, though it might be grace, it's not fully grace. But that is how God works. We heard at the beginning, we were dead. Paul says in Romans 8, we were hostile to God. So not even his sons or daughters. We were enemies. And even still, God gave us grace. Grace received by faith. So then faith is a work, right? God does the grace, I do the faith, and it comes together, and I'm saved. What does Paul say? This is not from yourselves, and because English doesn't have different ways to point out what this refers to, if you go back to the original, you'll see that the word this that Paul uses doesn't just refer to the grace, doesn't just refer to the faith, doesn't just refer to the salvation. It refers to all of it. The grace, the faith, and the salvation. None of it is from yourself. It all comes from God. That completely flies in the face of the world's gospel, which says if you want something, you have to earn it, and if you have something, it's because you've earned it. Even though that sentiment permeates our minds and even can seep into our religious thought, God clearly says to us here, I've done all the work. I sent my Son, not to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. He lived the perfect life. He died on the cross. He saved the world there. And I saved you by giving you the gift of faith, given to you in the waters of baptism, given to you through the word, strengthened through my supper. Not by works, so that no one can boast. We might like to boast because we've received that message again and again from the world. If you have something, it's because you've earned it. There are no free lunches. But God gives us the free gospel of his Son Jesus so that we might have confidence The alternative is that we have to look for something in ourselves, a reason for God to love us. And perhaps we do that sometimes. We think, well, God, he looked through eternity, through history, and he saw me, and he saw that I would believe in his Son, and so that's the reason he chose to save me. Or we think, well, it's because I'm in church every Sunday. I even come on daylight savings day when it's really 7 in the morning, and that's why God chose to save me. Or we begin to think, God must have really needed someone like me in his kingdom. That's why he chose me. Or God just really saw something he liked about me, and that's why he chose me. The problem is if I'm constantly looking for some reason for God to love me, there may be times when I feel pretty confident that God would love me, but there would always be a little gap. Just enough room for doubt to peek its head in. And like a cat, when it sticks its head into a small opening, doubt, once it gets its head in, can get all the way in, and all your confidence is gone. If I had to look for a reason for God to love me, I'd always have to wonder if it was really a good enough reason. Am I doing enough? Am I enough? If I had to look for a reason for God to love me, I would still be looking. We were dead. We were enemies of God. But God came crashing into that birthday party at your baptism, your rebirthday party, and brought you the gift that you were not expecting, the gift that you didn't earn, the gift that you didn't deserve, and he brought it to you, that grace that comes through faith, so that you would be saved and could be 100% confident of that fact.